Imagine working 12 hours a day in total darkness, deep underground. You're only 9 years old. The air is poison. Your lungs are burning. And if the ceiling caves in, you die instantly. Welcome to life as a coal miner in the 1800s. It was dirty, deadly, and downright depressing. Basically, it was the worst internship ever. In the 1800s, coal was the fuel of progress. It powered steam engines, factories, trains, and homes. The Industrial Revolution was basically a caffeine addict, and coal was the espresso. But someone had to dig it out. And guess who got the short end of the stick? Coal miners worked in some of the harshest conditions imaginable. They descended into narrow, unventilated tunnels carved deep into the earth, often no taller than 4 feet high. Perfect if you were a hobbit, not so great if you had knees. They hacked away at walls of rock with pickaxes, loaded coal into carts, and dragged it to the surface. These tunnels were damp, pitch black, and incredibly claustrophobic, like working inside a wet sock filled with despair. Workers were often soaked to the skin for hours. There was little to no airflow, and candles or oil lamps barely lit the surroundings. The only sounds were the clinks of picks, the rumble of carts, and your inner voice whispering, "Is this really better than farming?" Many mines reached depths of over 2,000 feet. No elevators. You climbed ladders step by step into darkness, and sometimes into doom. Free cardio, though. Working in a coal mine was basically like starring in a survival horror game, except no one was watching, and the prize was maybe not dying. Roof collapses were common. One wrong swing, and it was raining rocks. Methane gas built up and could explode with the tiniest spark. Kaboom! Instant barbecue. Worse, there was carbon monoxide, aka afterdamp. It silently suffocated you. If the mine didn't go boom, it just quietly murdered you instead. How polite. There were no gas detectors, just canaries. That's right. Your safety depended on a bird in a cage. Imagine explaining that to HR today. Coal dust filled the air like it was seasoning. Unfortunately, it seasoned your lungs. The result? Black lung. A disease where your lungs turn into dusty old chimneys. You also faced floods, fires, and rats. Big rats. Rats who probably had seniority. No gloves, no helmets, no safety rails. Just a prayer, a pickaxe, and a serious lack of better options. You'd think with all that danger, at least the paycheck slapped. Nope, it barely tapped. Miners were some of the worst paid laborers. Paid by the ton, not the hour. So if the coal ran out or your arm fell off, tough luck. Oh, and you had to pay for your own tools, your lantern oil, and rent, all provided by the same company. It's like working at Amazon, but Jeff Bezos owns your bed. You got paid in scrip, fake money only usable at the company store. And guess what? Prices were higher than a giraffe on a trampoline. It was economic trickery at its finest. Work for fake money, buy overpriced stuff, stay poor. Basically, the original version of in-app purchases. If you thought adults had it bad, wait until you hear what kids went through. Children as young as 5 or 6 worked in the mines. That's right. Before they could spell coal, they were mining it. Some were trappers. Their job? Sit in pitch blackness for 12 hours and open a door when a cart came by. That's it. Welcome to the world's most boring, terrifying job. Others were hurriers. They dragged coal carts through tight spaces, crawling on hands and knees. Sometimes they wore chains to pull loads. Childhood fitness, 1800s style. Girls worked too, sorting coal, sometimes underground, until the 1842 Mines Act banned it. But enforcement was, let's say, not great. These kids had no toys, no games, and no hope. Just coal, chains, and existential dread. Yay, childhood memories. mining disasters were frequent and horrifying. In 1862, the Keats-Hartley colliery disaster killed 204 when the mine's only entrance collapsed. They suffocated, crushed, and were forgotten, all because someone skipped building a second exit. Great savings, terrible ethics. In 1913, the Coles Sengenid explosion killed 439 miners. It was preventable, but safety upgrades cost money. And, well, who cares about lives when you've got stockholders? Miners wrote heartbreaking letters. One 14-year-old said, "I've not seen the sun in weeks. I dream of air. Sometimes I think I'll never be clean again." That's not a poem. That's just everyday life. The sun was basically a myth to these guys. Reform didn't come from compassion. It came from embarrassment. The 1842 report on child labor shocked the public. Turns out people weren't cool with toddlers playing hide-and-seek with death. The Mines Act of 1842 banned women and boys under 10 from underground work. But loopholes and lazy enforcement meant many kids kept working. Some bosses were like, "You're 10? Prove it. What's 7 times 8? Wrong answer. Back to the mine. Unionizing helped, slowly, but early organizers were fired, threatened, or mysteriously fell down mine shafts. Coincidence, right? Over time, things got better. A little. Pay improved. Safety standards rose. And eventually, miners got helmets instead of just hope and vibes. Think this is all ancient history? Not quite. Mining is still dangerous in many parts of the world. Collapses, gas leaks, poor safety, all still common. And yes, child labor still exists. Kids dig for cobalt and rare earth minerals. The stuff that powers your phone, laptop, and favorite TikTok dances. Technology has made things better, unless you're in a country where technology means a rusty shovel and a dream. So yeah, mining still sucks. Just with better branding. Being a coal miner in the 1800s wasn't a job. It was a slow-motion horror movie, with pickaxes and rats. Kids lost their childhoods, men lost their lungs, families lost everything. But their suffering built the world we live in. So next time you complain about your Wi-Fi, remember, someone once crawled 2,000 feet underground for a penny and a lungful of dust. Smash that subscribe button for more grim, tragic, and occasionally sarcastic looks at history. Next up, why it sucked to be a woman in ancient Greece.